Northwest News Today.
A big blow to sports fans all across the Northwest. Team owner Clay Bennett announced he's ready to pack up the Seattle Sonics and move them out. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Shaniqua Manning. Today, a group of local investors came forward in an attempt to keep the Sonics in town. But soon after, Sonics fans heard the news they have dreaded. King 5's Chris Daniels reports Bennett notified the NBA he wants to move the team to Oklahoma City.
Sonics owner Clay Bennett released a written statement just before the noon hour saying, in part, given clear lack of public, political, and business support for a new arena, he has, quote, no option but to commence the relocation process for the Sonics. And today he says he notified NBA Commissioner David Stern of his intention to move the Sonics to Oklahoma City if the team succeeds with pending litigation, an early lease buyout, or at the end of the lease term. It comes just hours after a local group went public with a new effort to keep the Sonics and Storm in Seattle.
They see this as an opportunity to win the Sonics and Storm back for the home team.
Roger Nias is representing the group, which has stepped forward today with an effort to save the Sonics.
So we want to open a dialogue with Clay Bennett to consider selling the team to local owners.
Investment manager Dennis Doggs, a former Sonics minority owner, is the one leading the pitch. Doggs crafted this letter to Bennett today, asking for a meeting, saying his group has a sincere interest in purchasing the teams, and they believe it is possible to run the Sonics and Storm at the current Key Arena location. The letter also states an interest in extending the Key's current lease, but they are not prepared to discuss financial terms now. The letter came hours after the team's home opener at Key Arena. Several fans chanted at times and held signs pleading for the Sonics to stay.
The crowd in that building made me believe that it's going to get done. You know, you just couldn't be there and feel like they were going to leave. So I'm definitely optimistic.
Brian Robinson, who co-founded the Save Our Sonics group, was there and applauds the local effort.
We really have to throw down a challenge to Bennett and to the NBA and say, look, we're going to dare you. We're going to make enough of a package and a presentation that we're presenting reasonable terms to stay, and we dare you to take our 40-year legacy away.
We do know one of the local businessmen approached to be a part of the new local ownership group was another former Sonics owner, Howard Wright III. Here's what he told us just before noon.
When Mr. Doggs and I discussed this, I told him that it's important to me to keep the team here. It's not important to me to be an owner. It's not important to me that there be local ownership. It's important to me that we have a team here in the Puget Sound region, and that's why I think it'd be a huge disappointment were it decided that they were going to leave.
Will you help him as an investor if need be?
I can't say. I haven't seen what any of the terms would be or what the needs are.
Important to note that in that written statement, Bennett says his group has not made a decision on the future of the WNBA's Seattle Storm. There will be much more on this story throughout the day here on Northwest Cable News. In Seattle, Chris Daniels, King 5 News.
And Mayor Greg Nichols released a statement today. In it, he says Seattle and Key Arena have been home to the Sonics and more recently the Storm for 41 years. I believe that tradition should continue. I will do everything in my power to enforce our lease and keep the Sonics and Storm where they belong in Seattle through 2010 and beyond.